thought he was dead, didn't you? Last time we saw Wolverine, he died in the movie Logan. How many years ago was that? Well, since that time, that mouse came in and bought up the rights and said, hey, wake his ass up. I don't care if he's dead or not. Get him out that grave. So we got Wolverine back with Deadpool in Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, it's pretty simple. That's the best title they could come up with. Okay, whatever. I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan, but this summer has been so, just so like nothing. Maybe a couple movies, Bad Boys, Ride or Die is one of them. I think there's another one that came out that was kind of like what I would consider a blockbuster. But man, I couldn't wait for this movie to hit. And namely because Hugh Jackman decided to come back and play Wolverine. And I guess there wasn't any problem with the rights and all that between Marvel and Sony or Fox, whoever. I think it was Fox. But I was excited to see that. What's funny to me is that they really should have named this movie Deadpool and Easter Eggs, because there's no story, or very little story. The plot, such as it is for me, it was almost incomprehensible. Thank God I took the time last year to watch season 2 of Loki, and I still really couldn't follow it. I just went with it. It's always about multiverses and branches, and your universe is going to be destroyed if you don't help save it. That's all I needed to know, and I went with it, right? But this film was designed for fanboys. Yeah, I couldn't really follow the plot. I just know that it had to do with time branches and certain universes being destroyed, and these two heroes have to come together to save their respective universes. But the other thing is the main villain really, the lamest or the weakest of motivations. Now, if you want to check out my review for Bad Boys Ride or Die, that's another film that I enjoyed. But the villain, it's almost like that the motivation for the villain in that film is so lame, you almost forget the purpose of the villain. It's even more so in this film. They introduce a villain. I think you see this person in the trailer. I was not familiar with this character, but this character does come from the books. And she has a connection with a very huge Marvel character, another Marvel character who I won't name. This character is just one of the lamest, snidely whiplash, twirling the handlebar mustache, just wants to destroy the world for no apparent reason. I don't know if it's vengeance. I don't know if it's, I can't say anything more, but the character is an interesting character in terms of power set. Again, I had no idea who this person is walking into this movie. From what I saw in trailers and what I saw in this film, I thought maybe it was like a Proteus type of character. Proteus being a mutant, the offspring of, I forget the Irish geneticist that appears in the X-Men books. Was a lover of Charles Xavier at one point. This is in the books, so I'm not spoiling anything. Proteus's power was that Proteus could manipulate matter and change matter, alter matter. And I kind of got this, I was thinking, well, is that what this person is? Maybe it's a female version of that. I was wrong. So I'm not clear about this person's power set. She seems she's an Omega level mutant. Okay, that sounds like a great villain. I would have loved to have seen more development with this villain, but there is none at all. All we need to know, according to the screenplay, is that she wants to either rule the world or destroy the world. That's about all I got out of it. This movie also continues the whole concept of multiverses, which I'm like, okay, I think Marvel has done everything that could possibly be done with this concept, except for revive T'Challa. That's another story. They put it to fun use here. This movie, like I said earlier, this movie should be Deadpool and Easter eggs, because there are so many cameos, so many things that I guess real fanboys have been waiting for years. Two things that happen in this film, I won't even get close to what they are, but there are two things that happen that even I was like, oh, they did that? They're doing that? There's one thing that happens in this film that ever since the very first X-Men in 2000, they do something that I said, there's no way they could do that. It would look stupid. And they do it, And I'm like, okay, it does look stupid, but it's dope as hell still. You got to go see it to know what I'm talking about. There's two critical things, in my opinion, that happen in this film that, and I'm going to segue into what I think about the movie. Those two things, along with all of the Easter eggs and all of the cameos. There's another cameo that comes out of nowhere. They kept the wraps on this, and it takes you one way, and all of a sudden, it turns into something else. It involves another cameo. Not going to say anything, but it was pretty cool to see that. All right. That's what made this film worth seeing. The cameos, the Easter eggs, all of the surprises. But also, I'm going to tell you the one thing that made this thing worth seeing, even more so than the cameos, is the performances of Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Those guys are amazing on screen together. I don't know. It's a shame we couldn't have seen Deadpool and Wolverine together on screen before. Like I said, I saw the first two Deadpools. They were all right, but I'm not a big fan of that character. But seeing those two together, that's what makes this film worth it. The script makes fun of everything. It makes fun of Disney, makes fun of 20th Century Fox, makes fun of Marvel, makes fun of some of the Marvel series that we've seen. It really goes in, and all of these lines are delivered with pinpoint accuracy by Ryan Reynolds. I mean, say what you will, or say what I will, in fact that I wasn't really a fan, but Ryan Reynolds was really born to play this part. You look at him as Deadpool and you wonder, what in the hell was he thinking even auditioning for Green Lantern? But he's great in this film. And Hugh Jackman, man, I'm going to tell you what. You got to give it to Hugh Jackman for giving it his all in all of the films where he portrays Wolverine. They're all comic book movies. I take him seriously for the most part. You know, the Academy Awards, they don't take it seriously, and film critics that are highbrow, they don't take these films seriously. And I get it. They're comic book movies. But being a comic book fan, I think they're great. But what I'm trying to say is Hugh Jackman, throughout, I mean, starting from X-Men 2000 all the way up to now, he really puts his all into playing the character Wolverine. And I'm going to tell you what, he does it double time in this film. This is next to the Wolverine, particularly the R-rated version, the director's cut of the Wolverine, this is the best performance of Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine. And part of that is because one of my issues with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is that, not that he never played him well, not that he is too tall he's not comic book accurate in terms of Wolverine's height in the books. He just looked too much like a pretty boy, particularly in X-Men 2000. As he's gotten older, that dude looks more and more like Wolverine. And I can't give it away, but you know that he's wearing the costume in this film, the yellow and blue costume. And I'm telling you, when he bares his teeth and he goes full Wolverine in this movie, he's spot on. I'm telling you, he looks just like the comic book to me. There's a particular cameo in this film that, man, I tell you what, I couldn't believe that the audience that I saw this with did not go nuts. I almost went nuts, but I'm a very reserved film goer. I think the only time I ever yelled or stood up in a movie was when in Civil War, when Ant-Man turned into Giant Man, and when Captain America picked up Thor's hammer. I went nuts. Those are two scenes, and that was an Endgame. Those are two scenes that I either cheered or applauded or stood up and shouted. Other than that, I don't typically do that. But there is a cameo in this movie that I was like, oh! And there's another one in this film. It's a short one, but it's like, that is wow. Okay, what is that person doing here? Interesting. I'm going to say that's the main reason to go see this film, just to have a good time and to see a great performance by Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, but particularly Hugh Jackman, who, I mean, this is a comedy. It's a comedy action film, but Hugh Jackman does not get out of character in this film at all. He plays it seriously when required. And then there's some scenes where this Wolverine has gone through some type of tragedy. I'm not going to give it away, but there are scenes where he's reflecting on that, and he brings it with the tears and the moroseness. And I mean, Hugh Jackman is amazing. This is the best portrayal I feel he's ever done of Wolverine outside of, well, Logan, that was dope, and the Wolverine movie. But man, I might go see this again just for his performance alone. Had this movie had a better plot, I mean, because it's clear that the idea behind this film was just, we got the rights back, or Marvel saying, we can use these characters now. Let's put a movie together. And let's make it with Deadpool. Because there's so much stuff in here where it's just like, it's kind of like Marvel saying, or Disney, I guess, saying, hey, we can show this stuff now. Let's give them what they want. There's a scene during the credits where they show, it's kind of weird, but still kind of cool, where they show behind the scenes footage of all different properties from different corporations that are now, I guess, under the umbrella of Disney. And just so you know, there is a credit scene at the very end of the credits. It doesn't set up anything. It's just kind of funny. And it involves a character that when you see the actor playing this character, you'll be like, wow, it's funny seeing that after so many years. The way he acts, and I'm not going to say anything more. But yeah, you want to stay till the very end. But yeah, I was surprised that with all of the reveals and all the Easter eggs, the audience I was with, they not a peep. And a lot of the guys in there, you know, the typical geeks and fanboys, comic guys, they had the t-shirts on, Deadpool and Wolverine. Looked like they could go to the gym for a few months, as do I. Some of the things that happened, I figured they'd be cheering. Not a peep. I almost started cheering. So I just thought that was strange. But yeah, I'm going to give this movie 3 reels. I would have easily given it 4 if there were a story. Because seeing these two on screen that was the magic. That was the reason you go. There's great fight scenes. There's nothing better than seeing a fight scene between two characters that both have mutant healing. There's one right at the beginning. I don't know, that one was a little bit boring to me, but then there's another one between Deadpool and Wolverine that happens in a minivan. That one was like, oh, that was the price of admission right there. The only other character that was disturbing to me was this dog that you've seen in the trailer. I don't know where they got this poor little creature. But oh my God, was that a CG character? Oh my, if that was a real dog, that dog has seen some better days. But yeah, that thing was freaky. I recommend going to see this film just to go have fun. If you are a comic book fanboy, you will definitely like this. And hopefully you react a little bit better than the people that I saw it with. But yeah, it's just a good, fun summer movie. And that's The Martini. Go check it out. Come back. Leave your comments. Tell me if you agree with me or disagree with me. Click subscribe while you're at it. Go back and check some of the movie reviews I have in the archives. And I will see you soon. Take care.